Hello, creative spirits. Happy New Year. Welcome to 2025. Hard to believe that's the number of the year that we are in, especially as someone who grew up in the 80s and 90s. 2025 was like the year we would have hoverboards and flying cars. And instead, we have autocracy and climate crisis. So, less fun than advertised, but also we still get to have lots of fun. We still get to make magic. We're still connecting to our creativity and we get to show up for what's coming. And I am excited to show up for you with this podcast and continue to share what I can to support you in your creativity, in your magic making, in your creative and magical life. We get to try to have that no matter what's going on. So I wanted to pop in and share a microdose episode. I'm kind of deviating from the pattern, which has been to take one of the cards we talked about in an interview and kind of apply it to your creative practice more specifically. And I'll probably continue with that pattern and I'll probably break the pattern. One of my commitments, one of my goals for this year is to do what I feel like, to do what pleases me, to do what feels good, to be more authentic, to share what I feel like sharing and see what happens when I just move from my own nature, my own being, my own inclinations, my own desires, and really get free. Like my personal card for the year is the devil, which is also my card as a Capricorn. So I think this will be a year for me of working with, um, yeah, what holds me back, what makes me feel small, and dissolving that, getting bigger, being a little louder, being more myself. Probably also more unpolished. But today I wanted to share with you some discoveries, some reminders, some things I encountered from using tarot recently to make a big decision or to help me make a big decision. So I'm going to share that story and hope that it offers you some insights, some takeaways that you can use in your tarot practice in case you are using tarot to help you make decisions, which, like, why wouldn't we? Sometimes it's so helpful. So, first, I'll say that I don't use tarot for every decision, right? That would really slow me down. And I don't need to use tarot for every decision. Part of what I want to cultivate for myself is more and more self trust. And I can do that. One way that I do that is by taking the information in front of me, checking with how I feel, checking my capacity, checking my resources, and making a decision. I was looking at my human design last night. I have some understanding of human design, but I don't know all the things. And I had a reading a while back. So I was revisiting that. And my style, apparently, according to my human design, is to make decisions quickly. And I think I can do that. But I also want to honor the fact that not everyone makes decisions in that way. I know for some folks that making decisions is actually quite challenging. It feels overwhelming. We can feel like there's only one right decision and the other one is going to be wrong. I don't believe that. I mean, I think that's true sometimes, but I think most of the time we just make a choice and we make the choice work for us. And if it didn't work out, then we learn from it and we choose differently going forward. So that's how I try to think about choices. And, depending on your own capacity for making decisions, like if you get like overwhelmed by information and trying to weigh all these different things against each other, then using tarot might just add a new layer of information with a little bit of mystery that actually makes you feel more unsure. So I'm not saying you should use it or when you should use it. That is up to you. And I tend to use it when I'm really not sure. Like, I'm like, I could see it going either way. The decision feels big, it feels a little bit risky. I want to consult the cards. The other thing I'll say too is like by using the cards regularly, I feel like I'm getting guidance daily. I'm getting reflection daily when I pull my cards daily, which I usually do. So that ongoing conversation also makes it easier for me to like feel connected to where I'm going, what I'm trying to do, and therefore decisions come a little more easily, some of them perhaps. So again, it's just like according to what serves you. And now I'll give you the situation. So I'm not going to give you all the details, but enough, hopefully, to understand. So I did make a choice to do some work on my home. I have a home that was built in the 70s. It's small. I've owned it for 14 years and I love having it. I love this house. It's seen me through so many beautiful things. My partner, after we started dating, bought a house that's like 2 minutes from my house. And it's bigger. And I spent the last year living with him and some of the time his daughter. And then my house, I was renting to someone else. And so that has ended. And I'm going to try Airbnb this coming year. I've done it before. I'm going to try it again, even though I have some reluctance, I have some reservations, we should say. But I'm also kind of confident. I'm going to try to describe the house and put in the description the kind of people I'm hoping to attract. Like through the presentation, I want to attract, people who can appreciate the house. So not just like randos who want to like get drunk and like have parties here, right? So as I'm preparing to do this, my bathroom is icky. It's old. The popcorn on the ceiling's peeling off. All the stuff is old. It's not looking good. I've refreshed other parts of the house a little bit over time as I've been able. Always it's been kind of like I haven't typically had a bunch of cash laying around where I can just like do amazing, incredible, revolutionary things to my home. And I don't think it necessarily needs that, but I do want to freshen it up. So to the bathroom, I want to get this work done on the bathroom. And I'm working with this guy who's done a little bit of work for me before. I like him. He does great work. He has a lot of experience. Of course, like working with contractors right now is expensive. Everything's expensive, right? And yeah, he does great work. So his prices are challenging for me. So we talked about what I wanted to do, what was possible, some back and forth, and like I was like, okay, I can do this part of the bathroom. I cannot fill out. I can't get my full like walk-in shower. I can't do that right now. It's too much. And so they started on the work. There was always, of course, the inevitable surprise like, oh, there's this issue. So more work on this that we didn't talk about, that you didn't know about beforehand. So, okay, the price goes up. And then we get to this stage, and he's like, hey, are you sure you don't want to go like full on with the shower? And, as I said before, this year I'm trying to like move from what I desire, what would give me pleasure, what feels beautiful, what feels alive and exciting. And do I want that nice walk-in full tile shower? Fuck yes, I do. Um, but and he's even like, he's like, I can cut you this deal. And I'm like, that's like a really big stretch. It's a really, really big stretch. It would mean that like all year long, I'm gonna be like, can I pay this off? Like I'm gonna have to take on some debt. And not just a little bit of debt, maybe it'd be a little bit of debt for someone else, but not for me. So is this debt going to be hanging over me all year? What if I don't make the money I need to pay it off? And then like something else breaks and I don't have money for that, like, etc. So he's making me this offer, like, do you want the full thing? And I do, but like, how am I going to feel? And then the other option is just like keep going. And do the parts of the bathroom that I was going to do, and spend less money and feel a little safer in that. And, the other thing is like, well, now that we're in here, now's the time. Now's the time. This guy's a good salesman. He's good at building the relationship. He's good at like enticing. And his work is really good. He shows me photos and I'm like, yeah, that looks fucking dope. So I'm like, I thought we were going forward with just like the smaller job. And then he's like, okay, we're at this place. Are you sure you don't want to do it? I can like take this amount off. And I'm like, ugh. Oh God, oh God. So, you know, I talked to my mom about it to see what she thinks. She has like a lot of experience and wisdom and like these kinds of things, working with contractors, etc. And um, as I thought about it, as I was thinking about it, I also got quite upset. It was like, I wish I just had this money. Like, I wish I had been more successful to like have had made this money already. I wish that, or not, I wish that, but like maybe I should have kept a full-time job longer. And maybe, it just brought up like all of this kind of like money shame, shame around under earning, shame around like my relationship to money, my struggles with money, all of this stuff. So I let myself have a little cry. I talked to my mom about the shame just to like, just for the process of unshaming. Like if we share about it, some of that shame gets to dissipate. And I trust her and she holds space for me and is very kind and loving. Thank you, mom. So, we talked about it and that night I like I'm going to see what the cards have to say. So, for the big full bathroom of my dreams, that is like super expensive and a really really big stretch. I got the Sun card and I got the King of Cups. So in the sun, I'm using the gentle tarot. The sun, there's this beautiful, bright, radiant sun. There's two women dancing naked in this valley. There's some blue bonnets growing in the frame of the photo. Just this really brilliant, beautiful card. Like we cannot, we can't get mad at the sun. I mean, sometimes I'm mad at the sun where I live in the summer because it seems like it's trying to kill us. But the sun is life-giving, this joyous card, this card of like youthfulness, play. And then we have a king. We have the King of Cups, this card of like emotional maturity, deep feeling. In this card, there's this white mountain goat at the top of a mountain looking over the edge. It's a starry night. The mountain goat's face looks very placid, kind of knowing, and then there's somehow this beautiful rainbow in the night sky. So my like bathroom of my dreams is these two really nice, powerful cards. And then for choice B, like the almost bathroom, the like scaled down bathroom that is more reasonable, more affordable, more safe, and will still allow me to like do the Airbnb thing that I want to do. I get the Two of Pentacles and I get the Queen of Cups. So it's really interesting that in choice A, I have a king. In choice B, I have the queen of the same suit. And then where the sun is in choice A, I have Two of Pentacles. So pentacles can be about resources, building things, working with the earth, substantive material. And the two, there's usually this kind of like juggling energy, but trying to do it in a way that feels light, joyous, possible. And in this card, in the Gentle Tarot, there's a woman naked on a little hilltop, and she's got these two orange orbs, kind of like small suns, that she's not even, it's almost like she's not juggling. It's like she can make them levitate. They're just like kind of floating according to her will. She's looking up at one of them. There's this like kind of God light coming down through the night sky. And also, I'm noticing right now this little rainbow that's being cast over her shoulder, on her belly. There's some flowers growing on her hill and a couple birds perched in the flowers. So still a really lovely card. But I'm thinking like, okay, it's a two versus this sun, this major arcana card. And then the Queen of Cups is this crane looking bird, kind of a close up, giving you a little bit of a seductive gaze. There's a slice of crescent moon over the shoulder and this night sky. So at first glance, I am thinking, well, I feel like these cards are telling me choice A is the one. The sun and the king are like slamming. They're like powerful. They're big energies. They're things we're always excited to see. And choice B with the Queen of Cups, really wonderful. But then I'm like, okay, this two is kind of like a low number. Um, does that mean it's the lesser choice? Does that mean it's like a smaller choice? Does it mean, you know, I'm like, okay, cards, are you asking me to really like go for it and really like push myself and like make this happen and like trust myself to like figure this out and bridge this gap that I would need to fill over a period of months in order to make my dream bathroom work? And I'll pause for a moment here and just say this whole conversation of getting to like have some of the bathroom redone or all of the bathroom redone is a privileged consideration. Like, I want to acknowledge that. This is like first world problems, right? I don't really like the first world, third world paradigm. We toss that. But I just want to say, like, I understand that the choice I'm trying to make is one that's like informed and made possible by the privilege I experience from having a family that has supported themselves and been able to cultivate some wealth, from my whiteness, all of that. I acknowledge that. Um, I think there are still relevant things we can take from this example. So, my initial read is like, yeah, choice A, full bathroom, big stretch, more debt is what the cards are indicating. But I don't really know. And so I'm like, I'm going to sleep on it. This was a Friday. On Fridays, I work with Venus because Venus is the ruler of my chart as a Taurus rising and some other stuff that's in my chart related to Venus. She is the goddess of my chart. Hello, Venus, bless you. And of course, she's the goddess of beauty and pleasure. So I had lit my Venus candle that day and I was about to put it out. And I just said, Venus, thank you for this opportunity. I don't know what to do. And, these are my options. I welcome any information you want to bring me in my dreams. The other thing I did before I pulled my cards, and I recommend this if it feels right for you, is to, if you're using the cards when you're making a decision, take a moment as you're shuffling, tune in with your guides, give some gratitude for where you are. Try to like take yourself out of any kind of panic or the overwhelm. We're going to like acknowledge that. But also, we want to take some deep breaths. We want to connect with something outside of us, something greater than us, something that supports us. And then I kind of say exactly what I'm feeling. I'm like, this choice feels exciting, but it makes me really nervous. Like, I don't want to have to do X, Y, or Z. I'm worried this could happen. This other choice is good, but maybe it's too safe. Like, should I push myself more? What if I regret not doing the full thing when I can? What if when I can do it, it's like twice as expensive and I'm like, fuck, you should have done it before? So I just lay all of that out. Like I pour out my heart, I acknowledge all of my feelings, and then I ask the cards. Okay. So I ask Venus for any more guidance. I go to sleep, and part of this is contingent on like a line of credit being approved for me. Like I said, I don't just have like the cash for this. So the next day I call about the line of credit to see, and they're like, no, you didn't get it. So I'm upset again. I'm like, I don't even know how I can do like the safe thing I wanted to do actually. And um I talked to my mom some more. I told her what the card said and what else happened. Then I think I called again. I called the following day and they were like, actually, you are approved. And the limit that they were going to give me is like the exact amount that my contractor quoted me for the smaller job. So I'm like, okay, there's a piece of alignment. Like the numbers are like identical. And this was the number on the like the job with the extra work that they had to do. Not my dream shower, but all the rest. And I'm like, okay, I'm looking at these resonances, these alignments, and um, I'm talking to my mom a little bit more, and she's like, I can help you in this kind of way with this kind of amount. And the full bathroom is still a possibility, but it requires me to get like more help, again, more risk, more fear, all of that. So, one thing that my mom also offered me was like, if you, and she was letting me choose. She was like, do what you think you do, what feels right. If you decide to do the smaller job, I can also contribute a little bit to helping you work in the yard. And I'm like, oh shit, that lights me the fuck up. Be in, I love to be outside. I love to be working with plants. I love to have my hands in the dirt. I'm so grateful for the modest amount of land around my home where I can plant flowers. I do the best I can to plant native things to help the ecosystem, to support the pollinators, to support the birds. My yard is not lush and like it will not blow your socks off. Like I'm not an amazing gardener. My mom is, however, and just spending time with her doing that I was like, that feels so amazing. And, the thing with like my full bathroom, my bathroom of my dreams is, you know, like the conventional wisdom would be like, yeah, it makes sense to just do it all, get the best thing you can, get it while these prices are like this before they go up some more. Oh, you could make more money on the Airbnb if your shower is like fucking dope. I don't even know if that's true. Maybe it is. But I'm also like not trying to have a fancy ass Airbnb. I'm trying to offer something that's like a little rustic, something that's kind of artsy and a little funky. And the appeal is like that the flowers are blooming and the birds are singing and it's kind of chill and low key and there's not like super shiny, brand new every fucking thing. Like that's not super important to me. And so, my mom presented this choice, and I'm like, that sounds really amazing. And it brought me back to the cards where I'm noticing in the Two of Pentacles, which is like, the card for the safer choice, that it's this like single human with these two orbs and they're levitating. Like she has this kind of magic. She's got this light beam coming down on her. She has this magical rainbow across her chest. Both in her card and in the Queen of Cups, there's a dark sky. And I'm trying to kind of go for that kind of beauty, like not the sunny, shiny, glittery, fancy like beauty of that like suggest luxury or finery, even though like all that stuff is good. I'm just like an earthy fucking bitch. Like that's that's how I roll. And so this like night sky, I'm noticing like, okay, yeah, that's like a more subtle, a different kind of beauty that I'm trying to convey. And the other thing to note is that the Queen of Cups is a card that's been coming around for me lately. It's been showing up regularly. I've been starting to associate it with the kind of work that I do, the way that I try to provide, support, inspiration, guidance from a place of love and helping people love their creativity, love themselves, love the magic, believe in the magic. And so seeing the Queen of Cups there, already having like had this relationship with that card that's been building over weeks or months, that should have been another indicator for me that, this choice was maybe more suitable. Even though the cards for choice A were like technically what most people would say were like better cards, stronger cards, more powerful cards. So, what happened in all of this is that I wanted to know what the cards had to say, but the cards do not give you yes or no answers, right? They don't tell you what to do. The cards are always acknowledging your own free will. They are showing you some possibility. They are showing you, yeah, just like one example of how things could go if you show up in a certain way. And they don't outline all of that in language, right? They don't give you all the disclaimers. But I think a couple things here is that when I come to the cards for these decisions, I both want to honor what they give me. I don't want to be like, oh, I don't like this. I'm going to pull again. Or like, I don't understand this. I'm going to pull again. Or I'm going to pull another card. Oh, I don't understand it still. I'm going to pull two more cards. Then you have so much information. You're like, I am more lost than when I started. So I always want to honor what the cards give me, even if I don't know exactly what it means, or even though the clarity is not like leaping out at me immediately. Sometimes the clarity will leap out immediately, and it's like, oh, okay, bam, got it. But, that's only sometimes. So I want to honor what they say, but I also want to leave space for other kinds of information to reach me. And so, still, I took some time. I asked for more information from other sources. I don't think I had a dream that night that gave me information, but when I woke up and started taking other actions, these other things started falling into place, and the choices had more information wrapped around them, and I could feel into my own pleasure and desire related to these circumstances. And, what I think I both want to believe in, like, I both want to think about what's like practically possible. And I also want to think about what's magically possible. So I try to kind of like live in those zones. So the other takeaway is like, we don't want to leap to a conclusion around like the obvious choice. I mean, if one choice had like 10 of swords and the tower, right? I might have been like, oh, okay. And that was one thing I was looking for, was any indication that like one choice was really like there was something in that choice that I couldn't see at this time that would be good to know in terms of making it. And I didn't get any of that. Like I didn't see any cards that were like warning signs, red flags, etc. So I have these two like mostly like good looking choices, with one having this like extra pop, extra strength, right? But I don't want to like black and white read it that way. And I don't want to be hierarchical in the way that I see the cards. Like even though it's our tendency to be like, this card is more fun than that card. This card, yes, I want the Empress and not the Five of Pentacles, right? But all of the cards are good. All of them are important. All of them are about being human and being alive and navigating this world and our lives and trusting ourselves and loving other people and doing what we feel is important and what matters to us. So none of the cards are actually bad. And I think we play this false game when we apply hierarchy to the cards, which was a trap I absolutely fell into, even though I was still leaving space for other decisions. So I also want to note that I gave it time. Like I didn't look at the cards and just say like, okay, yeah, well, then let me call this dude and be like, yeah, let's do it. Like I was like, let me keep thinking, let me keep feeling, let me see what else I get. I also paid attention, I invite you, I encourage you to pay attention again to the cards, any cards that show up that you already have this relationship that have been talking to you lately. If you see them in your spread, your decision spread, then um take that into account. Like, what has that card been? inviting you to do? What kind of work has it been bringing to you? What kind of growth has it been bringing to you? What kind of reflection of yourself has it been offering you? So it's like, yeah, the sun is bright and sunny, but it's also really intense, especially where I live. Like my relationship with the sun these days is one of both gratitude and fear because of climate change. Our summers are so long. It is getting so hot. Um, very stressful on the environment, which is another reason why actually working in the garden and being able to spend some time doing that work with someone who has things to teach me and who can help me make beautiful choices. Like, anyway, so the sun has this intensity, even though, like, yeah, it looks like a fucking amazing card, right? Or I personally associate it with intensity of late. And that's the literal sun, but factor in these things too. And the other thing is like you're not going to see it all in one view, right? Like I saw the recognition with the Queen of Cups when she showed up. And so I'm like, okay, yeah, familiar. Hi, welcome, thank you. Um, and I see the joyousness of the sun, but it takes me, another day to be like, yeah, and the sun is intense. It's also intense. And this decision feels intense. Like that dream bathroom feels intense. The Two of Pentacles feels more buoyant compared to that, even though the images are both quite beautiful. So being open to other influences and other information, honoring the cards you get, honoring the associations you already have, and ultimately knowing that it is your choice. That's the other thing is like when you come to the cards for help with a decision, do it from a place of like, I own my ability to make this decision. I intend to cultivate as much self trust as I possibly can in making this decision for myself. I trust the cards, but I'm not deferring to them to make this choice for me. I'm not giving up my power and letting the cards decide. I own the choice. I make the choice work, whatever it's going to be, and I give myself time to figure it out. And hopefully, your choice is also about what feels fucking good to you right now. Like maybe in 15 months or 12 months, this choice would be more clear for me. Maybe I would have more money sitting around where I could just do exactly what I want, but I don't. So, in this time, in this moment, what feels good? What does your body say? What does your body say when it looks at the cards? So, just something to notice because again, like I want to offer this story because I was kind of falling into this trap of what the cards must mean based on this kind of hierarchical framework. And there's more to it than that. So I wanted to put this out there in case you want to use the cards when you need to make a decision. And one reason to do it, one reason to use the cards for this purpose is not even necessarily to help you make the decision, but to help you learn more about the cards. So I get to mark this moment of feeling like that energy of like, what do I do? What's the right choice? I want this, but maybe this is better, whatever. That's kind of like a memorable energy we can come back to and connect with. And then we get the cards, and then we make whatever choice we're going to make. And then the choice plays out over time. And so we get to see, like, what did the cards say about the choice I ended up making? What does it look like that ended up meaning for me? What do I think they mean by that in hindsight, which is where we have a lot more information to understand the cards. And that's a beautiful way to work with tarot. I think it's like the only way to work with tarot is to interpret them in the moment as best you can and then allow time, see what happens, and then look back retrospectively and be like, oh, I think that's what that was meaning, given the information I have now. And this is why I love to hear from the people I read for, where they're like, you said this thing. And I'm like, I have no fucking memory of saying that thing. And it meant a certain thing to them. And then this thing happened. And so they feel like the cards projected something important for them, gave them some good guidance, and that my interpretation was also helpful. But also, there's more to it. There's this like the interpretation empowers them to make a choice, to believe in a choice. I don't push my clients to make certain choices, but I always try to show them more possibility than they're currently imagining, because I think that's something beautiful that tarot does for us. So that's my share about using tarot to make a decision. I hope it helps you. And if you're still listening, I want you to know that coming up next week, we are going to gather in a workshop for the Hermit Year. This is the Hermit Year. It's 2025. As you know, 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 5 is 9. And that is the number for the Hermit. So, in the Creative Magic Collective, which is my learning community, my nonlinear learning community for creative mystics, we're going to start off the year with our first workshop on the Hermit. And I'm going to talk more about that archetype, the different layers of it, the different meanings it carries, what that can mean for the year that's coming. And then we're going to do a tarot spread together that will help us think about how we can set some intentions around the Hermit, how we can think about working with the Hermit in the year to come, what that could look like, what feels like it is within reach, what feels doable. This is not like a giant goal setting workshop. The Hermit is not a giant goal setter. Like, it's not the Emperor, it's the Hermit. The Hermit's about walking the path and learning by going and stepping forward, and learning by observing, and learning by listening to the world and nature and one's own inner wisdom. So we're going to explore that. And I'm also going to give some recommendations for how you can work with the Hermit in other ways in the coming year. And right now, I am offering a free trial month in the Creative Magic Collective. So if you go and sign up for the collective before January 9th, so if you sign up on January 8th or before, you can get a free month. You do not have to enter payment information. If you're not into it, you can just let the month expire and nothing will happen. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to cancel anything. You just like won't have access anymore. And you get to come to the Hermit Workshop basically for free. And you also get to check out the other parts of the collective, which include a weekly live gathering, either for journaling, either for creating, either for it's called Tarot Office Hours, where I can answer your questions. We can do some tarot practice. And there's a whole learning library that has like dozens and dozens of workshops I've taught over the past 4 years in tarot, about writing, about magic, about creativity, about the overlap of those things. It's a really fucking cool community. All of the people in the collective are so great. They are really creative. They are, many of them nature lovers. Some of them are healers. Some of them are artists. Um, some of them are moms. Some of them are not. And it's a really supportive, beautiful community. So if you want your 2025 to include community that feels kind of kindred to you, like kindred in magic, kindred in creativity, kindred in a love of tarot, then I think you would really like it. And you get to try it out and just see if you like it or not. So if you go to typewritertarot.com and click on the Creative Magic Collective and just click join, you'll get that option to join with a free trial. And I would love to see you. Yeah, so that's what I have for you. This is labeled as a microdose, but goddess knows I probably talked for 40 minutes. My Mercury is in Sagittarius, y'all. So that's just how it comes out. It's a lot. I hope it made sense. And I hope there was something here for you. And I will be back soon with more good stuff for your creativity and your magic. Take care. And yeah, enjoy your creative and magical life. Wonderful beings. Okay, bye.